How to stop seeking validation from women. Why does her reply matter so much to you? Why does her attention change your mood? Why do you feel good when she responds and off when she doesn't? Most men never question this. They just live inside it, constantly checking their phone, constantly thinking about what to say next, constantly wondering how they're being perceived. And without realizing it, they slowly give away their power. Because the moment your mood depends on someone else's attention, you're no longer in control. And the truth is, seeking validation doesn't just affect your confidence. It affects your behavior, your decisions, your presence, and ultimately, your ability to attract. Because nothing weakens attraction faster than needing it. 1. What validation really is. Most people think validation is obvious. Compliments, approval, praise. But validation runs deeper than that. It's the need to feel seen, the need to feel accepted, the need to feel like you matter through someone else's response. Here's a simple scenario. You send her a message, a normal message. Now imagine she replies quickly. You feel good, relaxed, confident. Now imagine she takes hours or doesn't reply at all. Suddenly, everything shifts. You start thinking, did I say something wrong? Is she losing interest? Should I send another message? That emotional shift is validation dependence, not because of what happened, but because of how much weight you gave it. 2. Where this pattern starts. This behavior doesn't just appear randomly. It's built over time, through experiences, through conditioning, through how you've learned to measure your worth. Maybe you were praised only when you did something right. Maybe attention felt rare, so when you got it, it meant more. Or maybe you spent so much time chasing connection that it became your default pattern. So now, when a woman gives you attention, it feels valuable. And when she doesn't, it feels like something is missing. But here's the truth. Nothing is missing. You've just been trained to think that way. 3. How validation changes your behavior. The moment you start seeking validation, your behavior changes. Not in obvious ways, but in subtle patterns. You text differently. You think more before replying. You try to say the right thing. Here's a real-life scenario. You're talking to her. At first, you're relaxed. You say what comes to mind. But as you start liking her more, you begin to filter yourself. You start thinking, will she like this? Does this sound good? Am I saying the right thing? And now, you're no longer expressing yourself. You're performing. And performance creates pressure. Pressure creates tension. And tension reduces attraction. 4. The texting loop. This is where most people get trapped. You send a message. You wait. You check your phone. You think about it. You check again. Even when you try not to, your mind keeps going back to it. And when she replies, you feel relief. That relief becomes addictive because now your brain connects her response with emotional reward. And that creates a loop. Message, wait, anxiety, reply, relief. Over and over again. And the more you repeat this, the stronger the pattern becomes. 5. Why this reduces attraction. Attraction is built on perception, and perception is shaped by behavior. When you seek validation, you become more reactive, more available, more focused on her than yourself. Here's a simple example. You reply instantly every time. You adjust your schedule. You prioritize the interaction. And over time, it becomes clear. Your attention is centered on her. And when someone feels like your focus is entirely on them, it creates imbalance. Because attraction needs balance, not dependency. 6. Shifting your focus back to yourself. The first real shift is internal. It's not about changing what you say. It's about changing where your attention goes. Right now, your attention is external, focused on her replies, her behavior, her reactions. But to break the pattern, you have to bring it back. Here's a real-life shift. You send a message. Instead of waiting, you move on. You focus on something else. Work, gym, your environment. At first, it feels uncomfortable because you're breaking a habit. But over time, that discomfort fades and control returns. 7. Stop using texting as emotional feedback. Most people use texting as a way to feel something. Bored? Text her. Need attention? Text her. Feeling uncertain? Wait for reply. But this turns communication into emotional dependency. Here's a better approach. Text when you have something to say, not when you need something to feel. That shift changes everything, because now you're not using her response to regulate your emotions. 8. Build internal validation. Real confidence comes from within, not from responses, not from attention, but from how you see yourself. Here's what that looks like. You do things for yourself. You build discipline. You follow through on your goals. You create your own sense of progress. And slowly, your self-worth becomes stable, not dependent, because now you don't need someone else to confirm it. You already feel it. 9. Real-life transformation. Let's compare two versions of the same person. Before, he checks his phone constantly. He waits for replies. He overthinks messages. He adjusts his behavior. After, he sends a message and moves on. He focuses on his life. He responds naturally. He doesn't depend on outcomes. Same person, different mindset, different behavior, different results. At the end of the day, seeking validation is not really about women. It's about how you see yourself. Because when your self-worth is unstable, you look for something outside of you to stabilize it. Attention becomes that thing. Replies become that thing. Approval becomes that thing. And slowly, you give those things power over you. Power over your mood. Power over your confidence. Power over how you show up. But the moment you understand this, everything begins to shift. You start noticing your patterns. You notice when you reach for your phone without thinking. You notice when you're waiting for a response. You notice when your mood changes based on someone else's behavior. And that awareness is where change begins. Because once you see it, you can interrupt it. You can choose differently. Instead of reacting, you pause. Instead of seeking, you focus on yourself. Instead of depending on attention, you build your own sense of value. And at first, it won't feel natural, because you're breaking a habit that's been reinforced over time. But if you stay consistent, something powerful happens. You become more stable, more grounded, more in control. You stop overthinking. You stop chasing. You stop needing constant reassurance. And when that happens, your presence changes. You move differently. You speak differently. You respond differently. Because now, you're not trying to get something from someone. You're simply expressing yourself. And that shift is noticeable. Because people can feel when someone is seeking validation. And they can feel when someone is self-assured. One feels heavy. The other feels effortless. So the goal is not to stop talking to women. It's not to ignore them. It's not to act distant. The goal is to remove the need behind your actions. To reach a point where you can engage without depending. You can connect without losing yourself. You can enjoy interaction without attaching your worth to it. Because when you reach that level, everything becomes simpler. Conversations feel natural. Attraction feels effortless. And your confidence becomes real. Not because someone gave it to you, but because you built it from within. And that is what truly changes everything. Follow for more if you want to understand women better.